Hi, I'm Greg Pelican. Welcome to Pelican's Pain Cave. I've been doing bike fittings for 25 years, and I have two important points to discuss with you today. Technology has changed totally, over the last 10 years, and it's super important today that you're using a bike fitter who has a sizing bike when they're doing a bike fitting, and I'll explain why. The second thing is it's super important before you buy your new bike to get a bike fitting first. We call this fit first, and I'll explain that too. Okay, so let me explain why it's important that your bike fitter has a sizing bike. Well, 10 years ago, it might not have been as important because the bike fitter, and we still have these tools called a sizing stem. We could replace your current stem and then move the bars closer, further away, even raise it with this by changing the angle. But that's just not possible today. The stems that we're using now and the bikes that we have now, the cables are routed through the stem, through the handlebar, and they're hydraulic cables, so they're not easy to disconnect without bleeding them. So if you come to your bike fitter, even if he has that sizing stem, how is he going to change the bar position? He can't make the stem shorter or longer. He can't raise it. He can't lower it. Really, the only thing your bike fitter can do is adjust your seat position. And you shouldn't really be changing your seat position to correct for a reach that's wrong. So super important to have a fitter who has a sizing bike. So this is a good example of a modern sizing bike, this kicker shift. So in this case, I can adjust all the parameters. I can make the reach longer or shorter. I can raise or lower the bars. I can raise or lower the whole platform or standover height of this bike. I can change the effective seat tube angle, the height of the seat. I can even change the crank length, which is awesome. It's one of those things we're looking at right now, which totally affects your riding and the setup of the bike. So with something like a kicker shift as a sizing bike, I have complete flexibility of trying different things with a customer and confirming that it's right. And I confirm that it's right a couple of ways. One, just from my 25 years of experience. Two, I certainly measure things with the goniometer and measure angles. And then I use some great AI motion capture bike fitting software, which looks at a bunch of different parameters at the same time dynamically. It rates them and even gives me advice of what to do, which is awesome because it's like a double check of what I'm doing. So a sizing bike lets me try different things and know what I need to do to correct it. So let's say worst case scenario, you came in, you bought this $10,000 bike. The stem is too short. So I could at least tell you, all right, you need a 20 millimeter longer stem. We can simulate that. And then you can buy that stem and then you can have it installed. And then in that case, like I said, there's going to be some labor where they have to reroute the cables. Hopefully the cable length will be okay. If not, they'll have to change that. And then they need to bleed the brakes and get that set up for you. So it's good to know with the sizing bike, try these different changes, and then I can give you good recommendations. If we can't make the changes with the equipment that you have, as far as if you need to change a bar or a stem, I can recommend what you need to do to change it. Okay, today's bikes are more expensive than ever. They're more complicated than ever. Internal cable routing, disc brakes, carbon fiber, awesome. But it's a major investment. So when you make that investment, you want to make sure that the bike is going to fit perfectly and all the components on the bike are perfect for you. For example, let's just say you buy that that $15,000 S-Works bike and it comes with the wrong bar stem size. The stem's too long, the bars are too wide. You're gonna need to spend another $1,000 with labor and replacing that bar stem to get it to fit correctly. You wanna know up front what you need and order the bike accordingly. A lot of the manufacturers allow you to pick the bar stem combination when you're ordering the frame. And so this is a big advantage in setting up the bike one time right and also saving money. So with Fit First, we would do a bike fitting on you and use a sizing bike where we can adjust all of the parameters and you can test riding that position. Let's say, hey, you hear that 165 millimeter cranks are great. Well, have you ever ridden with 165 millimeter cranks? So we can actually adjust this sizing bike with 165 millimeter cranks, for example. We could look at the improvement from your current bike with our AI motion capture software, and you can feel the improvement. And then if you want to implement those changes into your new bike, you can design it that way. And that's the whole idea of Fit First. So when we find the perfect position, we measure those positions with something called an XY tool. And with the XY tool, we're measuring from the center of the bottom bracket to the center of the bar position. We're also measuring where the seat is relative to the bottom bracket, the setback of the saddle. And we're also measuring on a tri-bike the pad position. So those three things allow us to look in a bike fitting software that has a bike database, and we can match up those XY measurements to the correct size frame for you by brand, by manufacturer, and model. But even more than that, it's going to tell us the size of the frame, what size stem you need, the stack spacers, the angle of the stem, the type of seat post that you need. So all of those things are going to give you the perfect bike, and you want to know what you need first and get that when you're designing your new bike so it's right to start with. When we do a fitting for Fit First, we also encourage the customer to come back, and I will set them up on the bike and make sure it matches all the parameters that we set up through our fitting. So that's Fit First, and we want to help you get your new bike. I hope to see you in the Pain Cave soon, and I hope you enjoy cycling as much as I do. Have a great day.